going on, guys? Junior's Fishing Company, back at it. So I saw this kind of like soft hackle nymph on I think it might have been Pinterest, and it kind of caught my eye. There wasn't a material list or even a name, just kind of said wet hackle or soft hackle, whatever style fly. So I'm going to do my best to repeat it. I've made a few. I'll show those at the end, but this whole thing's going to be black except for the bead and the Biots that I put in. So this is a 3/16 ounce tungsten bead, nice and heavy. The hook is a Daiichi 1150 size 10. Not the same hook for sure that the picture had. The picture had more of like a, it almost looked like a stonefly hook. It was really a really long curve, but the stonefly hooks, the 3X long, just the first one I made didn't really mend. So this was the closest one I had in the box. So I'm going to start with my Biots. I have a little thread ball at the bottom to try and push these out a little bit. The first few of these I made pretty long tails. I usually gravitate towards longer tails. That's just how I kind of do it, but you can do it however you want. So I want to get those in kind of where I want them. I'll do a couple wraps up here and I'll check. That'll be good enough. So I've got those Biots in, and I'm gonna just bury these onto my hook, just so I really just do stuff like this just to keep it an even body. I want the materials I'm going to use coming up add a ton of bulk, so I really don't want to do that, but I would rather have it be even and a little thick than thin. So I've got just some hen saddle, black, and I'm going to strip it. I'm going to strip the fuzz off. Now, this patch is really long, has really long fibers in most of the feathers, and this would be too long. These feathers would be really almost to the end of my fly, and I don't want that. So I'm going to take out a pretty good chunk of these. I'm just going to strip some out. Now I'm going to end up wrapping this right here. A little trick to use long feathers to get to make them short. So I'm going to peel back some of my fibers, or whatever you want to call them, like so, and then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim a little triangle like that, and I can kind of measure out how long these are going to be. So maybe I'll go back just a little bit. I'm going to tie in my feather. Make sure that it's snug in there, because it's frustrating when they slip out. So I'm going to preen these back. I'm going to wet my fingers, and I'm actually going to pull not pinch with my other thumb. I'm going to pull the feathers through. So now I'm just going to wrap this like I would. I have to be super careful. Those cheap hen saddles are usually really brittle. So I'm just being extra careful. And any fibers that make their way on the other side, I'll just trim them because there's a ton on here. I'm purposefully or intentionally leaving a lot on there because throughout the tie I'll probably lose a few, and if I start it here with a pretty stingy amount, it just leaves room for some thin spots. So I've got my fibers back. Now what I'm going to do, see, that one doesn't want to behave either. I'm going to actually flip them, and for some reason I put mine upside down. I don't know why. Just I find it easier to pinch those fibers by the hook. So I'm going to work those up, and now I'm going to wrap, make sure my bead's up, I'm going to wrap up to my bead, and I'm just going to do some loose wraps because you can see it's really uneven. The hardest part of this whole fly is keeping these even. I've got a little makeup eyelash thing. It's not like hard bristles. These are really soft, so it's not like a dubbing pick that is really, they're metal and they're really harsh. This is soft. I got a Target for like $3. You look like kind of goofy buying makeup stuff, but if you're man enough to buy it, then by all means. So that should be good. Now I'm going to hold these as best as I can, and I'm going to finish wrapping up to my bead. Then I can kind of do my final, and these are all loose wraps, so they're not like crazy tight on there. So I can kind of, and then I'm going to give it one good hard pull down when I kind of like where they are. You'll get a little flare, and that's alright. So now it's going to be super annoying, but those are going to be there for the rest of my tying, which is what it is, right? Sorry. So next up, I'm going to put down some black, this is medium wire, and black tinsel. Again, it's going to be all black except for the ends. So I'm going to put my wire down first because that's what I'm wrapping in last. And this medium, I've tied a couple with brassy, a couple with small, and then I did one in medium, and I kind of liked how it looked. It makes it makes it a lot bigger of a body, but I don't see that as a super bad thing. So you can use whatever size you want. Jeez, come on. That's up to you. This is just medium black holographic. I'll wrap that all the way down. uncord my thread just so my body now I'm going to work on a taper. So I'm going to wrap up just behind my hackle, and touching wraps I'm just going to bring this all the way up. And this is a short piece of tinsel because I cut this from a musky tinsel bait. And I don't want to let go of this tinsel. But if you're using it off a spool, you're going to want to cut a nice long strip. So now, I don't have to go all the way up. But I want to go far enough up where I'm not going to be worried about. I can always put stuff over it. So now before I put my medium on, I've got some thin loon, and just to add a little flash, not necessarily to add durability or anything. Just adds a ton more flash. Just a little bit. I don't want to put too much on there. And I'll work that around. I don't want to add too much because I don't want this body to get any bigger than it needs to. That wire's kind of messing with my Biot. Hopefully I didn't tie that wire too far down. Zap that. Now I'm going to open spiral wrap this. Yeah, that messed with my Biots. That's alright. And the tough thing is, I can already see it's peeling off some of that UV cure. So one of the trickiest parts of this is when I got to here on my small, I had one time where the wire just kind of uncurled. So I'm going to take just an absolute dab. I'm basically going to wet this picker. And I'm just going to put a little super glue. Just like that. Just to help it stick. And now it's tough to get down on this wire and not break any fibers off. There we go. That went well for once. Yeah, I'm starting to lose some of that UV. So it just adds a little more flash to it. Okay, so now I've got 2 strands of peacock. I'm going to put one behind my hen, and then one in front. So trap that down. I don't need it to be crazy puffy. It's just going to help those hackles stay a little higher up. And it's just going to add a little more flash if this needed any. Tie that off. The good thing about Peacock is it behaves well. You only need a good wrap or two. Again, just be careful, you don't want to trim off your hen. So, I've got a decent spiral around there. I'm going to take these fibers and I'm going to put them back and get my thread. Don't stab your finger. I'm going to get my thread. It's going to take a few wraps up here just to build up a little bit of a collar, because those 3/16 ounce beads have big holes and you just want to be careful. So I've got another one that's not behaving. So now I'll put one more peacock up front. Tighten it down. This will help push back some of those. Maybe I'll do one more if I can get it. Careful. Two good wraps. And now I really don't want to add a ton more wraps because I don't want to wrap over any of that peacock. So I'm just going to kind of whittle my whip finish right to the front. Just a few turns. You can always add a little head cement or something down there, but most of the flies I fish are almost single use. So there you go. I had one. I was this far in, and my camera decided to. So this is kind of what you want when you can see it's uneven, right? It's not perfect, but you do what you can. So this is a little orange one. I've got a couple other ones. This one I actually used a quill body with olive, black nickel, and then this one was red, small wire, and some red peacock too. So yeah, there's a billion different ways you could tie this one, but they're kind of a lot of fun to tie. You kind of get in the groove of working with that hackle all the way up, and no, it's a pretty cool fly. Junior's Fishing Company, juniorsfishing.com. Like and subscribe. Drop a comment below if you have any colors or patterns or anything you want to see, and we'll see you out there.